Hi, hello, Belly here. It's been a hot minute since I've posted, but this video is from my American literature class, so feel free to skip this unless you'd like to hear the ultimate speech from the ultimate yapper, the yapper being me. Before I actually start, I'd like to mention my lack of camera is due to mine breaking, and I'm still waiting for my replacement one to be shipped out, so enjoy the Minecraft parkour as I talk about art. For what I'm going to be talking about art, specifically, I'm going to be talking about art that was created in early America during the Romanticism period. And before we actually take a deeper dive into the art that was created during the time and the artists, here's a recap for what exactly Romanticism is. Romanticism is a literary and artistic movement marked especially by an emphasis on the imagination and emotions. When thinking of Romanticism, you can think of literary pieces such as The Raven, created by Edgar Allan Poe, and The Scarlet Letter by Hawthorne. For a much more modern take that really exemplifies Romanticism is the film Edward Scissorhands. If you've never seen the film before, I'd recommend giving it a watch, and you'll see what I'm talking about for what I mean when it really pushes the imagination and intense emotion. But let's dive into the actual point of the video now. The Romanticism era in America lasted approximately from the early 1820s all the way to the 1860s. Popular art pieces that originated from America at the time would be pieces such as and as you hopefully would have noticed, there's a pattern in these works of art. That being, they're all landscape pieces. At the time, American artists were pumping out landscape pieces like you wouldn't believe, a sort of fad if you think about it, similar to animation memes. And a little bit off topic, but in case you don't know what animation memes are a silly little thing that was incredibly popular around the early 2000s and still is to this day, that artists and animators would animate to, often depicting a character dancing or singing to a song.
In the sunlight, you'll go crazy.
Alley with a bad bob, that is not me. Go the other way. Who is this? Precious like you.
These are just really quick examples, so that way you have a visual representation of what animation memes are like and could be. So they aren't limited to just music alone, they could just use different audios. But going back to the main topic, many pieces of art that were created and properly preserved correctly are still highly reclaimed to this day. And that's not to say other mediums in art besides paintings weren't created at the time, it's just that at the time paintings were most popular in creation and being consumed by Patreons. With the prominent thinking that was Romanticism, landscapes were especially important, which makes a lot of sense considering that these pieces that were created really focuses on one's relationship with nature and the beauty that is nature as a standalone subject. So these pieces, in my opinion, are able to really emphasize on that incredibly well. Now that you know what Romanticism exactly is and the medium that was popular in the time period for America specifically, let's focus on two artists that were incredibly essential for this time period as well. Thomas Cole, as you would have guessed, is an artist. He's actually considered to have been the reason for the first major art movements of America, the movement being the Hudson River School. The school consisted of a large group of American landscape artists ranging from about several generations that worked mainly around the Romanticism period.
Who would have guessed?
Thomas Cole was born in Bolton Le Moors on February 1st in 1801 as an English-born. He and his family emigrated to America in 1818, and compared to the other artists in which I'm going to talk about shortly, his life was incredibly short as he died at the age of 47 in 1848 in New York. Appearance-wise, here's what he looked like. Yeah, no, sorry, I just had to let you guys sit in silence for that one. It's just, there's not much you can say appearance-wise. He's just a guy, quite literally. But from what I could find whilst researching, was that he returned abroad during the year 1829 all the way to 1832 to study and attend family business whilst there. These years provided to be super productive for him as he obtained a large amount of commissions from wealthy Americans that would work to further push his reputation into a positive light and just gathered loyal patrons. So besides networking in his life, he was trained by a portrait painter named Steen and spent approximately 2 years attending the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. So he quite literally was educated. He had a good life, from what I could tell. It wasn't really, this dude had a pretty decent life. Went abroad, came back, but he did die young. Not even young for that period. He died at a normal age to die. But what made him highly acclaimed besides his landscape pieces would be his historical paintings. In his pieces, especially the landscape pieces, you'll notice that they contain man-made buildings and even people themselves. So Cole didn't limit himself to his art to depict nature alone like the next artist I'll be talking about momentarily. He captured everything in which he saw, which adds a sense of life to his pieces. In his life, he created around 148 paintings alone. But his most popular piece that I enjoyed, absolutely adore from his gallery, would be The Voyage of Life, Youth. I'll let you take a look at it right now. Really take it in. Wow! An artist that actually collaborated with Thomas Cole himself and is a great segue to the next artist is Frederick Edwin Church. Both of these artists actively elevated the landscape scenery in this period. Because who would have guessed 2 people I'm talking about actively did something? His work as an artist truly thrived in this period. Here's a quick reference for what he looked like before we dive into his content a bit more. For him, appearance-wise, there's even less I can say that would be in a positive light. Again, not much I can say here. He was born May 4th, 1826 in Hartford, Connecticut, and he died at the age of 73 in the year 1900s, which must have been incredibly baffling to have been born in a year that starts with 18 and to die the year that starts with 19. I feel like that's just a very drastic change. But from what I could find on him, he had a very decent upbringing where he and his family weren't financially struggling. So he could have been what's considered as a upper middle class upbringing, possibly. But this is due to him being the son of Joseph Church, who was a jeweler and a banker for the city. So his father had an incredibly well-paying job that allowed for him to, go become an artist. But regarding his work as an artist, his pieces are incredibly breathtaking. He's able to capture the beauty that is nature so incredibly well, whilst also containing a very whimsical and dreamlike feeling to his work. He's able to accomplish this through the use of oil paints. And if you've ever used oil paints by themselves, you will understand how difficult this is. Or maybe that's just my bias talking, because I despise using oil paints with a passion. I hate it so much. But he created around 76 paintings that we know for sure that are his, but it's actually rumored to have actually been closer to around 101 pieces that he created. But his pieces, unlike Cole's work, are seen depicting nature itself, with no people whatsoever in his work, not even any man-made buildings, highlighting the beauty of sunsets, mountains, and waterfalls. So his work alone is just very romantic.
I'm feeling romantical.
Really highlighting the beauty that is nature. The most popular piece, which he's very well known for, that I think he's very well known for.
That's my opinion!
Because it's one of my favorite pieces from him, is Raining Season in the Tropics. I almost forgot to mention, but Frederick also had a very big helping hand with the Hudson River School, as he was one of the artists who actively worked for, the school. So he was one of the artists that did help with the creation. He's one of the, what could be considered, not even considered, but he is like one of the first artists. Well, not the first, but he's one of the artists who worked at the Hudson River School with Thomas Cole. But thank you for watching. These were the two major artists that consisted in the creation for the Romanticism period for America. They created a lot of artworks that are just completely breathtaking, and I would recommend you to go look at their works at your own time. And yeah.